Oh my god, it's been a while. It's been a minute since I recorded a video. It's been about 8 days, right? Had a little break over this 8 day period, and I really been getting more and more into mixing and mastering my music. I like the way it's sounding. I'm releasing it as well. And I've been releasing on like SoundCloud, BandLab, YouTube, but I also want to release it on full streaming platforms to actually earn an income from Spotify. You can on SoundCloud too, but there's just less visibility and exposure on that platform because it's not a huge mainstream platform that everyone collectively uses. At least not in the way that it was used, especially when it was taken off more so like 2017, 2018 time. It's just not the same type of buzz that it has now that it had back then. So but I think I'm in the process of like getting releases reviewed, not releases, but recordings reviewed for release. So we'll see how that goes, and I'll probably update you to see or to tell you, hey, I got my first song released on all platforms. You can actually go buy it on Apple Music, on Spotify, wherever it is that you want to stream it. But it's available like on all the major platforms. But until then, it's just pending right now. But I wanted to make a new video, and this video is that men crying in front of women should be illegal. I don't want to hear the excuse about, we watched a movie together and the movie had sad scenes in it. And, it was about some estranged kid from a broken home or no home and had no place to go and finally found someone who would take him in, or I don't know, like a very important character, passing away towards the end of the film or something like that. I don't want to hear these excuses, because like really as a man, like you just shedding tears in front of your girl is like there's a lot of significance to that. And I just feel as though like that's something that has to be kept for a moment that actually makes, in fact, it's not even something that has to be kept for a moment that makes sense. That's what I was gonna say. But like what I really mean to convey is more so like when you cry, if you cry and it wasn't uncontrollable to the point where tears just all of us like I should say like a wave of emotion just flooded you know your full your full body, right? And then it overtook you to the point where you started to uncontrollably shed tears. I think at that point, if you go through a situation that causes this to happen, that's when I can say, you know what, that's genuine. Like you literally crying on the spot and something has moved you so much in order for you to be able to do that. That's when it's like, to me, that's when I see it as like, okay, this is real, it's tangible, it's not manufactured or manipulated, to get like to bring across a certain point or agenda that you have, and yeah, trying to be like just trying to have like manipulation over others or be manipulative towards others. In doing that, I think when you cry and you shed tears, especially as a man, it should be rare, you know? It shouldn't be so accessible, It shouldn't be something that happens once a year or, because at that point, it's not, to me, it's just not real. It's like, okay, so you have on a calendar year, you seriously have, you can seriously count on your hand the amount of times that you've cried over a calendar year. Really? I think that's kind of bitch made, I think that's something for women to do if they want to do it. Not even all women do that. And that's the thing. But if they want to, they can, that's fine by me. I really don't, because I think emotions are, you know, I think emotions definitely have more weight over women, you know, like spiritually and physically, I would say. And I just don't think that they have that much weight over men the same way that it has weight over women. It's not, and like I haven't cried for a long time, dude. I haven't cried since I was 18. There's not really nothing that's gone, and a lot of bad shit has happened. Like A lot of worse shit has happened from like since then, you know, especially recently. And I just haven't been led to tears. What am I gonna cry for? You know, like at the end of the day, I wake up and choose the life I want to live every single day, and choose the life that I want to work towards creating for myself in the future. So what do I really have to cry for? Okay, there may be some extenuating circumstances that take place in life. Yes, but it has to be significant still. You know, it can't just be like, I don't know, like the lights went out in the house, you know, and then you started breaking down crying because the power went out. But you just didn't realize that, I don't know, maybe you didn't top it up for the month and it just ran out sooner than expected. It's not something to break down over, not as a man, but it's something to fix immediately. But as a woman, you might break down, have a little cry first, and then get to fixing it. That's okay with me, you know. I'm not fussed about that. If you're a woman doing that, it's whatever, you know, you're kind of supposed to. But as a man, it's just, you know, it's really not ideal, you know. Because as a man, you're supposed to be able to bottle up emotions for a longer period of time. And then when they kind of overflow, you know, when it gets overbearing and you've got all these different emotions you haven't expressed, then at that point, it's better to release it, you know. It's better to release it, you know. You might just end up crying to yourself, and then at the same time, just start swearing like a lot out of nowhere because you're like, fuck, man, why the fuck am I crying? What the fuck are these tears doing here? For fuck's sake. Yeah, you know, but until that day comes, like, and that day usually comes like, it usually takes a long time to come. Like, we're talking over the course of years, maybe decades, you know. I just don't feel as though like men are really it's appropriate for a man to be crying like casually, occasionally. What have you got to cry about, bro? Seriously, like, you know, there's not much to cry about, you know, there's not much to cry about. And there's also not that much to laugh about either, you know. I just think a lot of things are what they are. Like I experience things in the moment, but a lot of times, no matter how heavy it is, I like to kind of tell myself it is what it is. Because as soon as I tell myself that, whilst it's happening, I can be like, okay, how do I make everything, how do I just how can I continue to be better, you know, or find a way to be better, even after just going through the worst, you know? Like, because that's how you survive, it's how you strive, and this is the natural drive I think all of us as humans have, but like, you gotta, that's something that I think people should tap into more often, you know? I think it's something that people should tap into automatically, you know? As opposed to crying automatically and then looking to fix it later. Especially as a man, it's just backwards, you know? Again, for women, probably acceptable for them. But I just think, and for children, but for men, it's like, that's not it, you know? That's not it, you know? It's solve it first and then, you know, solve it first and then you can cry afterwards, you know? It's got to be like a laugh now, cry later type of thing, you know? And it's crazy because that's a song as well that dropped on my birthday, and I really like that song as well. Came out a couple of years ago, you know, so just reminiscing on that. That was a banger. But that's COVID times as well. But yeah, I mean, literally, you know, I would never cry in front of my girl for just no reason. You know, it's got to be like a big reason. It's got to be like, you know, if you're a man and you're crying and say your dog died, you know, your parents, you know, someone in your family passed away. Okay, you know, especially if it was someone real close in your family, like I'm talking about someone who was there for you since you was little, you know, like your parents, if they died, yeah, I would understand, like, you know, you're going to shed a tear, you're going to shed tears, you know, it might be, you know, it might be a droplet or it might be a waterfall, you know, but it's respectable either way. But outside of situations like this, like really just tough times, you know, and like life-changing moments right then and there, if it's not life-changing, It's not something to cry about. A movie is not changing your life like that. It's just not. It might give you a slightly different perspective on life, but is it really like changing the way you operate on a day-to-day basis? You're gonna be like, oh, I gotta change this because I just seen this movie. It's like, no, no, you don't have that kind of pull over me, you know. But yeah, if someone close passes away, that has a major pull. That's gonna change the way you operate. It's gonna change the way you look at things forever, you know. Um, Even if it's just in a small way or in a major way, right? But still, it's gonna have that long lasting type of impact, because I mean, at the end of the day, that was a thing of, or it was a thing or a person of longevity, you know, and then for it to all of a sudden run its course and its time be ended, or their time be ended, it evokes a lot of emotion. So that's when I would be like, you know what, yeah, I can give you a pass for that, These are war tears at this point. Like, it's only war tears that men should be crying. If those tears that are on your face as a man show up and they don't have any, there isn't any fight or battle behind them. There isn't any war, years and decades of suffering and joy and pain behind all of it, then it's not real. It's a facade, it's fake. And I don't know. I don't know how a man could just burst out into tears. You know, I saw a video of this streamer doing it, and I'm like, how are you gonna burst out into tears on camera just for some engagement bait and views? I can't do that, man. Like, no way. I'm not even gonna try to, because it looks ugly as hell, and it's goofy. It's just not me, and it shouldn't be many men, quite frankly. So yeah, I just came on video literally just to say that I feel a bit more inspired having this break, this time away to just, think of different concepts for videos and talk about different topics. And I got a lot more coming. So check me out. And yeah.